In 1720 London, people became rich overnight, but no one could explain what they were actually buying. Not gold, not land, not products, just paper. Promises of wealth that only existed because everyone agreed to believe they were real. And once that belief started spreading, it became impossible to stop. Because in this city, money no longer came from value. It came from imagination. White British traders in powdered wigs shove through narrow streets, shouting prices that change every few seconds. Ink-stained stock certificates are traded faster than gold ever was. And somewhere in that chaos, you are told your entire future depends on a number that does not physically exist. No one questions it, because questioning it now means losing everything already earned. And that was only the first trap. The fear of waking up from a profit that might not be real. At first, it looks like growth. Then it becomes something else. Every buyer in London is not just investing anymore. They are confirming reality for the next buyer. Coffee houses fill with white British merchants arguing over invisible value curves drawn on paper maps. Hands shake as men sign documents they don't fully understand because everyone else looks certain. It should have collapsed immediately. That was the obvious outcome, but it didn't. It expanded. Stock prices didn't just rise, they started convincing people they had to rise further. Every new buyer didn't question reality. They reinforced it. And that is where the system changed. Because once enough people agree on a lie, the lie stops needing permission to exist. It starts functioning like truth, even if nothing underneath it is real. And so, certainty spread faster than truth. Then something more dangerous happened. London stopped acting like a marketplace and started behaving like a belief system. Now it is no longer just traders. It is families. It is servants. It is aristocrats quietly entering the same system they claim to distrust. Coffee houses turned into prediction rooms. Strangers became financial prophets. Men comparing imaginary wealth instead of real assets. Even people who didn't understand stocks began speaking in certainty. Not because they understood more, but because everyone else already sounded sure. And when certainty spreads faster than understanding, reality loses authority. You begin to see it everywhere. Not participating now feels more risky than participating blindly. And what's even worse, no one could point to the moment it became irrational, because it never looked irrational while it was happening. Then, without warning, the first hesitation appears. A pause in buying, a silence where demand used to scream, and that silence spreads faster than the hype ever did. White British investors suddenly staring at falling numbers they don't know how to interpret. Ink contracts drop into muddy streets as crowds panic in Exchange Alley. Horses push through chaos. Shouting turns into fear. Fear turns into running. And running turns into something worse. The realization that everyone was only safe as long as everyone else kept believing. Because there is nothing underneath mass belief when it stops being shared. Only air. Only paper. Only delay between realization and loss. When it finally ends, it doesn't feel like a crash. It feels like exposure. Like someone pulled a curtain back on something that was never stable to begin with. Fortunes vanish across London overnight. Not just money. Identity collapses with it. White British merchants who believed they were rising wake up to find they were standing on agreement, not value. And the most disturbing part wasn't the loss. It was the memory of how real it felt while it was happening. Because London didn't get tricked by fraud. It failed from synchronized belief. And that leads to a question that doesn't stay in history. If entire systems can function perfectly while being unreal, how much of what you call real is actually just agreement you never questioned? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if it shifted something in you. And subscribe. Because the most dangerous systems are not the ones that collapse. They are the ones that still feel stable while they shouldn't.